closer than it's ever been. So, if we don't have it now, it's never going to happen. So, it's way closer than what it used to be. So, I think it's definitely going to happen.
So let's get right into it. Now, number one, if the pay-per-view fight is finalized, it won't take place on the targeted November 19th, but rather December or probably January. Spence and Crawford agreed to terms, apparently, with Crawford set to earn the short money, which we all know. Coming into this fight, I knew that Crawford was going to have to pretty much pull a Devin Haney, and working with the PBC, you already know the PBC is going to protect Errol Spence and make sure that he gets the lion's share of the revenue. Crawford, he wants transparency related to the event expenses since the contract contains no guaranteed purse. Now, if you guys don't understand what that means, is basically it's like if he's not getting any guaranteed money, that means like all the money that's going to be generated for the fight, the gate, so on and so forth, along with his different sponsorships, the things that the fighters sew on their trunks, whatever like that, and they get the bag from that also. Bud is going to get a percentage of all that. But in that lies the discrepancy, because he needs Spence and Company, Al Haymon, to be transparent about where this money, how all this money is going to be generated, so he knows what percentage that he's going to get once everything is said and done. He knows that he's going to get less money than Spence. He knows that. That's why it's so important that he has that figure and he knows, okay, where's the budget going? Where's the money going? So he knows how that money is going to be allocated going out. So therefore, he knows how that money is going to be allocated coming back in. And we'll touch back on that later. Now, since Crawford, which is 38-0 with 29 knockouts, he will earn a percentage of the net revenue. As I said, the net revenue as far as everything. Now, he wants the ability to approve the expenses, as I said. And that's why that Al Haymon and Company, they're going to have to open up the books. Remember, Terrence Crawford, he ain't rocking with top rank no more. And this is kind of the part where Bob Arum will come in handy, because he's not only the head of Top Rank, but he's also a lawyer. So he can pretty much, look through a lot of the legal jargon. But now this is a learning experience for Terrence Crawford. But at the same time, Bud ain't no fool. He knows what's going on. And the fact that Errol Spence is now also a promoter, he's learning the promotional side of things from Al Haymon, his mentor. And we all know the boxing game can be a dirty business. And Crawford also knows that. And he don't want, he already know it. He kind of getting railroaded a little bit. But it's only but so far that I'm sure that he's going to allow these people to pretty much, get the better of him, especially financially. Now, Crawford is a promotional free agent, as I said. After leaving Top Rank, the deal includes a bilateral rematch clause. Now, Errol Spence may not want to fight Terrence Crawford 2 times, 3 times, especially if he loses. Now, if he loses to Terrence Crawford, and he does exercise that right to rematch Terrence Crawford, he's going to get the short end of the stick on the second fight. The same thing is going to be done to Errol Spence via the rematch, and he knows that. So not only will he take a blow as far as him losing to Terrence Crawford, especially we don't know if he'll be beat by knockout, stoppage, or whatever. And then on top of that, if he exercises his right to rematch Terrence Crawford, he's now getting less money. So now his ego, his pride is in jeopardy. Bud is taking less money coming into this fight. He has pretty much conceded to everything that Al Haymon, Errol Spence, or whatever, they have put in front of him. That just goes to tell you that Terrence Crawford is confident that he's going to beat Errol Spence. The Errol Spence fans, and I'm an Errol Spence fan too. I rock with both guys. You dig what I'm saying? I rock with Bud, I rock with Spence, but I have to look at things objectively. I have to look at both sides of the table. And Bud can beat Errol, just like Errol can beat Bud. But Errol Spence fans, for some strange reason, you guys don't see the not only ability that Terrence Crawford has, but you don't see his power, you don't see his intelligence, and that just shows you guys are not only fans, But y'all are like, you know what I'm saying, y'all are like true fanboys and girls because you think that Errol Spence can do no wrong, which is a very foolish mindset to have about your favorite fighter or any champion because anybody can be beat. And who knows? Let's just say Terrence Crawford defeats Errol Spence and Errol Spence, he just takes the loss. He chooses not to exercise the rematch clause, which they have the right to not do. He can just move on because Errol Spence said himself, you know what I mean? I mean, when he was talking about Terrence Crawford record, saying, 38-1 is not a bad record, which is not. Basically stipulating that he will be the one to give Terrence Crawford his first loss. The same thing goes for Errol Spence, which is 28-0 with 22 knockouts. 28-1 is not a bad record, especially if you lose to Terrence Crawford. I believe that Terrence Crawford, he wants this fight more than Errol Spence. Errol Spence does want to be the undisputed champion, but he doesn't want to go through Terrence Crawford to do it, especially when he knows the threat level and the danger in that fight. Terrence Crawford is still at the peak of his ability and his talents, and he's highly intelligent and is always working. So Errol Spence to think that he can age Terrence Crawford out if that's a part of the game plan, that's not a very wise way of thinking. Not at all. Now, it's conceivable that Crawford, which is 35, as I said, he will want another fight before facing Errol Spence if talks continue to drag out. Depending upon how long this takes, Terrence Crawford, he may step up and fight somebody else. We spoke about this before when the question was asked, would Terrence Crawford possibly fight somebody like Virgil Ortiz? That's a possibility. Would Terrence Crawford possibly fight somebody like Jaron Boots Ennis?
That he belongs in the top echelon, with the fights that he fought, that he deserved a shot. Not saying that he beat a lead fighter yet, in a welterweight division, but
we all know Jaron Boots Ennis, he wants that fight. Terrence Crawford has went on record and said, you know what, he has given Boots high praise. He said if that fight ever came across his way, that he would also relish the opportunity in fighting a young champion or potential champion like Jaron Boots Ennis.